My name is Margaret Ellen Thompson, and I'm 72 years old. I've lived in this house for 43 years, raised 3 children here, and buried my beloved husband Richard 5 years ago. My kitchen has always been my sanctuary, the place where I've kneaded bread when worried, stirred soup when sad, and poured wine when celebrating life's small victories. But that Tuesday evening last November, my kitchen became a battlefield. My daughter-in-law, Victoria, had always been particular. When my son David brought her home 15 years ago, I saw something brittle beneath her polished exterior. She was beautiful, ambitious, and had grown up with money, things I never had. I grew up on a farm, learned to make do, and believed that kindness costs nothing, still tried. I truly did. That evening, I prepared David's favorite meal, my mother's pot roast recipe, the one that fills the whole house with the smell of rosemary and comfort. Victoria arrived late, her heels clicking impatiently on my hardwood floors. She barely greeted me, already on her phone, her lips pressed into that thin line I'd come to recognize. Dinner began quietly. David looked tired, worn down in a way that troubled me. My granddaughter Emma, only 8 years old, sat between them, unusually quiet. I served the meal with care, poured water for Emma, and reached for the wine bottle. "More wine, Victoria?" I asked, simply being a good hostess. "Obviously," she snapped, not looking up from her phone. I poured her glass half full. She glared at it, then at me. "Fill it properly, Margaret. Don't be stingy." Something in her tone made me pause. This wasn't about wine. I could see David's jaw tighten, Emma's small shoulders hunch. "I think that's enough for now," I said gently. "We're eating." Her face transformed. The glass flew before I could blink, white wine splashing across my face, my hair. My favorite blue cardigan that Richard had given me. The crystal shattered against the wall behind me. "Maids must obey," she shrieked, her face contorted. "You're just the help in this family, Margaret. Know your place." The room froze. Emma started crying. David stood, mouth open in shock. But I just stood there, wine dripping from my chin. Something inside me quietly breaking alongside that glass. "Victoria, get out," David said, his voice shaking. "Get out of my mother's house." She left, taking Emma, threatening custody, lawyers, and family destruction. David stayed, helped me clean up, apologized until I thought his heart might break. But I told him to go home, work it out, be there for Emma. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat in Richard's old chair, and I remembered things. I remembered Victoria's father, Thomas Worthington, from 50 years ago. We'd both been young then, working at the same downtown firm, me as a secretary, him as a junior executive. He pursued me relentlessly, made promises, talked of love. Then I discovered he was engaged to someone else, someone from his country club set. When I confronted him, he'd called me help too, said I should have known my place. I married Richard instead, a good man, kind man, and built a beautiful life. But I never forgot Thomas's cruelty, and now his daughter had thrown a glass at my face. Morning came softly, the way it does in winter. I made coffee, sat at my kitchen table, and opened my laptop. I'm not as old-fashioned as people think. 3 hours later, I had everything I needed. Victoria's affair wasn't even hidden well. Instagram photos with timestamps at hotels when she claimed to be at yoga. A man named Chase who tagged himself at the same restaurants, same weekends. Credit card statements that David, in his trusting nature, never scrutinized. She was stealing from their joint account, spending on her lover, planning to leave David but waiting to maximize her divorce settlement. I compiled it all. Screenshots, receipts, dates, messages I found on Emma's iPad that Victoria had carelessly left signed in. I created a folder, organized and thorough, the way I'd organized everything in my life. Then I made copies. One went to David, delivered personally with coffee and my homemade cinnamon rolls. I held his hand while he looked through it, watched his face cycle through denial, hurt, and finally, a strange sort of relief. "I knew something was wrong," he whispered. "I just couldn't see it." "Sometimes we don't want to see," I said. "We love them too much." Another copy went to Victoria's father, Thomas. I included a letter, not angry, just factual. I reminded him of our history, told him how his daughter had treated me, explained what she was doing to my son. I ended it simply: the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. But unlike you, I won't stay silent. The third copy I kept, insurance against whatever might come. The fallout was swift. David filed for divorce with evidence Victoria couldn't deny. Thomas, protecting his family's reputation, pressured Victoria to settle quickly and quietly. She fought at first, threatened and raged, but the evidence was overwhelming. David got primary custody. Emma came home. 3 weeks after that terrible dinner, Victoria came to my door. I almost didn't recognize her. She looked smaller, somehow less polished. Her eyes were red. "May I come in?" she asked. I considered saying no, but I stepped aside. We sat in my kitchen, the wall now repaired where the glass had shattered. I made tea, said nothing, just waited. "My father told me what he did to you," she said finally. 50 years ago, sipped my tea. "He's not a good man. I always knew that. I think I became him." Her voice cracked. "I'm not asking forgiveness. I just wanted you to know I'm sorry. For the glass, for the words, for being cruel to someone who only showed me kindness." I looked at this woman who had hurt me, who had hurt my son, and I saw something I recognized. Pain, passed down like an inheritance. Cruelty learned from a cruel father. Brokenness trying to break others first. "Victoria," I said quietly, "I forgive you, not because you deserve it, but because I deserve peace." She cried then, really cried, and I let her. I didn't comfort her, that wasn't my role anymore, but I witnessed her pain, acknowledged it, and showed her something her father never had: grace. She left my house that day and moved across the country. She calls Emma every week, is working with a therapist, trying to be better. David is healing. Emma draws pictures again, laughs at dinner, and me, I'm still here, in my kitchen, making pot roast and pouring wine carefully now, with intention. The wall where the glass shattered has a new coat of paint, brighter than before. Sometimes, revenge isn't about destruction. Sometimes it's about truth, spoken clearly. Sometimes it's about breaking cycles instead of people. And sometimes, the sweetest victory is simply refusing to become the cruelty that wounded you. I learned that from Richard, from a life built on kindness, from understanding that hurt people, but healed people can heal people too. The wine stain is gone from my favorite blue cardigan. I wear it often now, a reminder, not of the night it was ruined, but of the morning after, when I chose truth over silence, justice over bitterness, and ultimately, peace over revenge. That's the real wisdom age brings. Knowing when to fight, when to forgive, and when to simply stand in your truth and let the world rearrange itself around it.